Hey guys, welcome to the first ever episode of Showdown. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in. This is hopefully gonna, appeal to everyone. If it doesn't, go fuck yourself. We're not PG tonight. Um, Essentially, tonight's show is all about the controversy. Every single week on Showdown, we're going to be giving you a little bit more uncut, we're going to be giving you a little bit more uncaged, and we're definitely going to be un-PG. Tonight's show, we're going to talk about the 2011 Victory Road incident. For those of you who don't know, the incident basically occurred when Jeff Hardy got stoned off his tits and didn't know where he was. He got caught in gorilla position and had nowhere to go, and they decided to go forward with the match anyway. And this resulted in the main event for Victory Road 2011, which was Sting's first main event match back in TNA of that year, resulting in a 1.5 minute match, at which Jeff Hardy was pinned instantly. Both the crowd and officials were pretty pissed with this, as you can tell, and a lot of fans were very disappointed, so we want to give you our views on what could have happened, what did happen, and what the fuck went on. Just to give everyone a quick introduction tonight, as per usual, we have Skeletor's with us tonight.
Hello.
We have Paul with us, depicting false Skeletor. And we have with us, for the first time in a long time, we've got John Tibbs, who is our constant tweeter, good friend, art designer, Fallout fan, Half-Life fan, Portal fan, and genuinely, he's quite new to wrestling, so give him a break. And if you're not gonna, stop listening now, because it's not worth your time. So how are we doing, guys? We all good tonight?
It's not bad. Thanks for having me.
That was one hell of an intro right there.
I like to hold my tongue as much as I can.
Yeah. I also love Fallout, as my username on Twitter or whatever is @Fallout.
Yeah, look at you trying to put yourself over. Get out of here!
I was gonna say, nobody asked why you got your Twitter name that way.
Yeah. Yes.
So, guys, as you know, you've all watched the Victory Road incident in literally the last half an hour.
Yeah.
Like, whether you've seen it before or whether you've seen it, now. How does it feel watching it back and understanding what exactly went on? Skeletor, I'll let you go first, man.
That, the pause between him coming out and, from his music hitting to him coming out isn't actually that long, but it feels like it's, days. You just sit there and you just wait and you wait for him to come out. It's really only, 15 seconds or something. But, immediately you know something is wrong. Just right off the bat.
No, man, it's the close-up on his face that really gets me every time. As a Jeff Hardy fan, you see the puffy eyes, you see the red swollen face. Even under his makeup, you can tell. I was, crushed as a child. I say child, it was only a few years ago. That's really bad. As a child, when I was only 3 years younger.
When you were 12, 3 years ago.
When I was 12? How old do you think I am? Shame on you, boy. At your Divas Legs. John, what was your thoughts? I mean, you're pretty new to this, and you know I'm a big Jeff Hardy fan, but you've seen the clip now. How did it make you feel seeing it for the first time?
Well, I mean, most of what I've seen is, and they do have their problems being live, but they tend to really get the hang of it. They sort of cover it up, they solve it, they fix it. Whereas when I watched that, it looked as if they had just pushed him out, saying just go and do it. And like Skeletor said, the delay between the music and him coming out. Again, I don't know much about Jeff Hardy right now, but it seemed like one of those prolonged introduction sequences, say when the steel cage is being lowered down. You sort of think, oh, it's building up, but then you realize, oh, it's Jeff Hardy's theme, and he's just not there yet, and you just realize you're thinking, what the fuck's going on?
Oh yeah, I mean the intro itself is shocking considering how long it took him to come out. I think it's a damn shame as well because I like his theme music, and as much as I like listening to it, it went on for too long, and then there was not enough of the song to back it up. That's just from a music fan, though.
Yeah. And
What did you think to it? Sorry, John, on you go. I'll let you finish.
No, I was just going to say that, and the way he walked out, just towards the ring, you could tell he was completely nobody home, basically. Completely out of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it did add to his heel character a little bit. The arrogant walk, not giving a shit, but you can tell from the get-go there's something wrong.
There's
So,
an arrogant
Paul,
walk.
what was your thoughts? Because obviously, Paul, you watch TNA.
Yeah. I've pretty much been with TNA since kind of like the beginning almost. But yeah, this is without question one of the most cringeworthy and embarrassing things I've ever watched in wrestling history. For a guy to come out there, just to not even be able to perform, especially with a professional like Sting, a guy that is a legend in the business, and to show him that lack of respect, let alone, every other guy in the back, or yourself, or the fans, you have to respect that guy across the ring from you. And you could just see the look on Sting's face. He knew that shit was fucked up, and he was pissed.
I think the best example of that as well is at the end of the match. I call it a match. At the end of the segment, you see the crowd chanting bullshit, 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 and Sting just turns and goes, I agree.
Yes.
I mean, in a long time, I've not seen a couple of wrestling matches that have been kind of that short where the wrestlers have been pissed off with them. I've never seen it to a point where a guy like Sting or a legend like Sting or The Undertaker have actually been able to turn around and say, okay, I agree with the fans, this was bullshit, what's going on?
If that would have been Undertaker, he would have potatoed Hardy. He would have legit beat the shit out of him in that ring. He's lucky. He's lucky Sting is a pro.
Yeah, I'm really shocked that Sting didn't actually. There's a couple of moments, if you look back at the video, and I'm hoping a lot of the guys listening will do, if you watch it, there's a cut on Sting's neck and there's a cut on his back. That's from Hardy within 2 minutes of the match, trying to get a grip of where Sting is.
Yeah, his one collar and elbow, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it's absolutely shocking. Like, as a Hardy fan, like I said, it crushed me. So, as John said, if this had been WWE, he probably wouldn't have gone out. They'd have found a way to fix it. So, given that, Eric Bischoff and the guys in the gorilla position knew what was going on, what do you think brought to their mind, do you know what, fuck it, let's put Jeff Hardy out there. If he's going to fuck up our business, let's make sure he makes an ass of himself on national TV. Like, do you think if you were in that situation, you'd have put Hardy out, or do you think you'd have kept him in? Skeletor, what do you think?
Well, in my head at least, the obvious fix is just going, Sting, what was it? Jeff Hardy did not have time to prepare for Sting last time they wrestled, so Sting has to face an opponent he wasn't ready for, and you put out whoever you feel like, who can actually have a real match. And
I'm sensing some sense in there. That would be ridiculous.
What?
I mean, I'm sensing some actual sense in that situation. That would be ridiculous. That they did that.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
Like, there was already a logical build-up to it not being Jeff Hardy, and they still put Jeff Hardy out there. I don't understand that decision-making. And it was like, you could have put anybody, and it still would have been better than making your main event of a pay-per-view a minute long or whatever.
Well, you could have fulfilled. You could have done both things. You have Bischoff come out there like he did and say, you know what, you are in no condition to be in this ring. Get out of my ring. Put him on blast, embarrass him in front of everyone.
Yeah,
and then you bring out an opponent.
Yeah, just pick anybody. Like, I'm sure there was 10 guys who could have put on a pretty good main event match.
I'm telling you, if that was Vince, I gotta think that's exactly what Vince would have done. If something, if by chance, something would have slipped through the cracks, and he would have made it out to the ring, and then they realized, oh shit, he's fucked up. Vince would have totally came out there and done that.
There is no chance in hell even slipping through the cracks would have happened in WWE, especially with the amount of drug tests they have to do now, which, by the way, has definitely tightened up since Victory Road. So well done, Jeff Hardy. You fucked up the fun for everyone else.
You ruined everything.
No, Kane does that. Hashtag Kane ruins everything.
Oh, I I have one guy that I like, and you guys always ruin it.
John, what do you think? I mean, I was saying to you how much it bothered me that they still sent him out there. Would you have sent him out there? What would you have done?
Still wondering whether I would have sent him out in the first place, but I'd have to make a really quick excuse to somehow not let him compete. I can't really think of it right now, but somehow maybe incapacitate him to make him unable to do it anyway. I don't know. But I like the suggestion of getting someone else, so Sting wasn't prepared for this wrestler as a sort of counter. I probably would have gone with that.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys on Twitter just now, Ginger Pimpinel says he'd have fired him on the spot instead of letting him wrestle. Do you know what? I completely agree. I think Vince would have done the same. That kind of shows you, though, the level Bischoff was at when he sent him out there in the first place. X-Man Hag says that... Sorry, on you go.
I was gonna say that I was kind of looking into it a little bit, and it seems like hold on, where was it? From a company source, they said that Jeff was fine all day, but then no one could find him, like before the match. So they sent a couple guys.
Apparently.
Yeah, they found him in his trailer. They had to carry him to Gorilla. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, if you had to carry him to Gorilla, I wouldn't have even carried him. I'd have fired him and sent him home. Let him stay in his trailer, send him home in the morning.
Yep.
Mad Hag says, I'd never seen this before. It was disgusting. Glad he's getting back on the right track, though. Mark McPherson1 says, listening to Leveler at Showdown. Top stuff, guys. Give me a shout out. There you go, Mark. You got one. Hopefully, Mark, you can actually get in touch and let us know what you'd have done. And no, again, X-Mad Hag says she'd have sacked Jeff Hardy on the spot. So, given, though, with everyone that we've spoke to so far would have said they'd have fired him on the spot, do you think it's possible, just like that, to sell your top merchandise seller and be okay with it? Because personally, I know if it had been, let's say, for the mad reason that Jeff Hardy or John Cena goes mad again, right? One of them goes mad and John Cena pulls half a Benoit, right? He kills his ex-wife. Let's say he does that. Did WWE just fire him, get rid of him, and then pretend he never existed? Or
yes,
do they let him go out? Do they let him wrestle, go out for a match, and then get rid of him then? Because fuck me, I know I'm firing him on the spot.
Just a thought.
TNA could not have thought that through.
Yeah, sorry, this is me being very new again, but when did the Benoit incident happen again?
06, 07?
Yeah, 06, 07.
Right. So
5 years
I'm actually quite... Yeah, so it's quite surprising they've managed to quite effectively suppress Benoit from the WWE, considering at that time the internet was still pretty widespread and things happening on TV would be able to stay as it has, of course, but it's impressive how they've been able to suppress it. So if they did it today, I doubt they would have been able to suppress it. Just the size of the community online.
So let me ask you guys this time. Did Jeff Hardy's fuck-up give TNA a bad name, or did it only just add to the bad name that TNA was already given itself?
It just added to it.
What do you think?
Yeah.
You turn, boy.
Hogan and Bischoff or whatever coming in was basically the point where their name changed. They went from a scrappy indie company that was becoming a big deal to just a garbage like WCW 2, and that event just made it entirely worse. Like it was getting bad, and that was just the nail in the coffin. And the company hasn't quite recovered from that. I hear the last couple months have been pretty entertaining, but that doesn't matter. People still think of it as a garbage company, no matter what.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just before we go on to Paul's view there, Mark actually got back in touch and said he would have had the lights go down, have him removed from the fans' view quick, and then claim it was Sting's powers. Do you know what? I've heard worse things in wrestling. It can happen.
No, you shoot him, and then you have a storyline about who shot Jeff Hardy.
You know what? That's really good because Russo was working there at the time, so that is totally plausible.
I would not be surprised if Russo knocked off like a 20-year-old soap storyline for it.
Yeah. Jeez, that's unfortunate.
Paul, what's your thoughts? Do you think it just added to TNA's bad name, or was it Jeff Hardy's fault that TNA got a bad name after that?
Well, it's one hand washes the other. Because a few years before this incident, Jeff got busted for basically like running a drug den. So it's not like So I mean, it's not like they were cracking down on him or trying to make sure that he was sobered up and clean or anything like that. I mean, he came there because, well, it's reduced dates, no drug testing. He can do what he wants, get paid for it, get paid well. So I mean, they're both they're both tremendous assholes in this whole thing. So,
I couldn't have put it better myself. I think a lot of it was hand in hand with each other. I think it's stupid on TNA's part, just the fact that they fucking hired Jeff Hardy again. Like, if I have if I'm running a company and I have a member of staff fuck up, take a bunch of drugs, get shit-faced, and come into work, I'm going to fire him. I'm not then going to bring him back 6 months later and say, do you know what? It's fine. We'll let you off. You sold merchandise for us. Well done. That's not how business fucking works. A leopard never changes its spot. And even now, I sit going, don't do it, Jeff. Don't do it, Jeff. Don't do it, Jeff. And I'm still a Jeff Hardy fan, which both confuses and appalls me. John, what do you think? Did TNA...
Sorry?
Do you think TNA had a downfall because of Jeff Hardy, or...
Well, I admit I haven't paid much attention to TNA, but it might have had a contributing factor to it. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you guys just said the storyline should have been who shot Jeff. Mark McPherson says, better question is what's Jeff shooting up? Hashtag junkie.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think it's sad. A lot of people had this view about Jeff, that there were a lot of wrestlers out there that they went bad, and obviously the problems occurred. Look at Scott Steiner, for God's sake. The guy's a roided up freak. Like, they literally call him Freakzilla now, and it's not because of his natural weightlifting ability. It's not.
Well, speaking of Steiner, he actually sued TNA for allowing TNA to let Hardy wrestle him when he was under that condition. Yeah.
Which, I can kind of say good on Steiner. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that was in...
It is super dangerous.
Yeah, that was in November of 2012. He filed suit. So.
Though I will say, in response to the leopard never changes boxing or whatever, there's been guys like Joey Mercury was like a big drug addict guy, and he's gotten pretty clean. He's been clean for 6 or 7 years now.
My thing is, though, I bet if you guarantee him one night in Vegas and no rebuttal of what's going to happen, he takes the drugs. I think if you offer someone a clean chance and they get to do what they want, and you've got that kind of money to wait, why not give it a go?
That's how
if I said, you've got £1,000 here, I'm giving it to you, don't worry about what you do with it. Here's a casino, go waste it if you want. Are you going to go do it?
That's how addicts
work. Of course you are. You're going to waste £1,000, right? Or $1,000, however you want to look at it, because our money's fake money. Fuck off.
Yeah, fake money.
Especially Scottish money.
I just want to say, by the way, a big hate to all our listeners. If you don't like, bad language, foul mouth, bad jokes, this is not the place to be. I apologize. Again, if you don't like it, go fuck yourselves. We are on un-PG show tonight.
Yeah.
Man, £1,000? Your money's very heavy over there.
Very funny.
It's like a big bag of cash. Okay, I give you a big bag of cash. If that's what you like, go elsewhere,
It has a dollar sign on it.
Hey, imagine if it was in rubles.
We've got a swag bag. There we go, even better. Speaking of swag, you've got Swagger. He gets stoned, World Heavyweight Champion. and gets caught with it by the police. WWE bring him back, don't really do much about it. Do you think if TNA were put in the same situation again, they'd still let another wrestler come back? Or was it just because it was Jeff Hardy?
No, absolutely. I mean, they've kept Kurt Angle on the payroll, and how many times has he had DUIs? I mean,
Also, Jack Swagger wasn't like high in the ring and didn't ruin a pay-per-view.
right. But it was right before WrestleMania, so that
True.
was like the last thing that they needed. But even like before that, you also have RVD when he was the dual champ. Him and Sabu getting busted. You go back even further. You had Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan get busted for coke. Vince fired their asses. So.
And though, to be fair, Jack did get like dropped to jobber for like 6 to 9 months.
Right. But, I mean, none of this occurred in the ring, though. That's what makes this so heinous.
Piper Valentine on Twitter says, I asked, was Scott Steiner in the right for suing TNA about Jeff Hardy? Piper Valentine says, yes, but Steiner may not have been the best guy to bring this up. She did say gut, but I'm not going to correct her on her spelling. Basically, do you know what? I kind of see the same. We've said that this was a bad situation for anyone to be in. It is a little bit of the kettle calling the pot black.
Oh,
for
yeah,
Steiner
that's
to be the one suing.
Yeah, that's Steiner trying to chase some cash. That's all. That's all that is.
Well, is he chasing cash, or is he just gaining attention from it?
Yeah, trying to chase cash. Because, I mean, you know what? If he wants to play that game, Triple H could easily just have gone, hey, guess what? You were in the ring with me. You had drop foot. You could have easily, while trying to suplex me, drop me right on my head. Because your foot went numb. Same thing. So.
Yeah. John, let me ask you this, man. You know that wrestling is fake, but you know that drugs are real life. TNA, as someone that hasn't watched TNA too much, TNA continued the story when Jeff Hardy came back, that he had to apologize and make his rise again from basically the ground up. Do you think it was a good idea for TNA to do that, or do you think they just messed up and continued dragging out an incident?
I'd say you could call it an opportunity coming from a disaster, because it could become quite an interesting storyline. I haven't seen the storyline, so it might have been good, it might have been bad. But I think it might have been worth chasing up, trying to make something of it. Maybe I can't really say much else from that, because I can't really comment on TNA as a whole.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, obviously for me, TNA following this up was, I want to say it was a bit of a fuck-up. They should have just had Jeff Hardy apologize, and as much as I hate to say it, he should have left the company. Like, his rise again was great to watch. I enjoyed it personally. There was a lot of matches, though, that fans didn't like why should a stoner be taking over guys like Austin Aries?
Right, we lost him.
Levels?
Yeah, he disappeared.
Oh.
But hold on, I'll kind of add on to that. Everybody, we love a comeback story.
Yeah.
That's really it. I didn't have a problem with TNA. Kind of piggybacking off of that. I mean, because they didn't shy away from what the truth was. I mean, in this day and age, the truth was out there. We all saw it. We all know what happened. So, and they portrayed it in a fairly positive light, I would say. I don't remember the whole thing, but I remember, the night that he came back, and they played it up pretty well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree about what you say about comeback stories. I mean, I can imagine a lot of people are very hyped about the potential comeback story for Daniel Bryan.
Exactly. And I guess, that he stayed sober this entire time. So, I mean, hey, good on him.
Can you two hear Levels?
Nope, not a bit.
Oh, because I can hear him asking.
Well,
telling us to shut up.
Yeah, we can't hear him, so. All right. right. I will.
Yeah,
I
he
will,
said to drop out and come back
Yeah.
in.
Yep. I'll drop out. Come right back.
Alright. You can, with enough time, you can do a lot. Like, WWE would not have rehired someone after 6 months or whatever. However, I would not be surprised if they did a similar thing after, like, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and let somebody, try to make a comeback and maybe base the plot line off of it. Like, friggin' Joey Mercury was he was a drug addict, and then he got put in when he came back after being gone for like a year or two due to that, he got put in the straight edge society, and he made, I think, a few comments about how CM Punk, like, saved his life or whatever. So.
Neighbor.
Yeah, they could have. He could have totally came back from it. I mean, it's all how you're portrayed when you come back. If you come back, you're admitting what you've done. You're earnest in it. You own it. Yeah, everybody loves a comeback story. It's a comeback story. It doesn't matter if it would have been Jeff Hardy or if it would have been Spike Dudley. You portray him in the right light like that, and yeah, the fans are gonna get behind him. So.
I will say, Taz and I forget who the other guy's name is.
Mike Tenay.
Mike Tenay. Those two covered it pretty well. Like they did not have any reaction that told me oh no, they know.
Yeah, but the only thing I saw was when Hardy was trying to figure out for 2 minutes where he was gonna throw his shirt. Taz asked what the hell is he doing? That was about it.
Yeah, and then Mike Tenay immediately was like, he's trying to piss off the crowd or whatever.
Yeah, I know that was good. That was good. What would they have done nowadays?
I know that Michael Cole and Jerry and JBL would not have handled that situation well.
No.
Yeah, it would have been, what the hell's he doing, Michael?
I think I probably. Depends how good his improvisation is, really. Like, if you could go out and. Because people. Possibly. Because people paid to see Sting play that match. I'm not sure whether they'd be more disappointed by not just seeing completely high off his tits Jeff Hardy, but also seeing no Sting. I think the reaction might have been even worse if he didn't turn up.
Yeah, if I was, Sting, who's a big, muscular dude, and, I would have done what Paul said Taker would have done, which is just kick the dog shit out of him, because fuck you for disrespecting me and everyone else like this. So, yeah, if I was a dude who could actually beat the shit out of Jeff Hardy like Sting, I would have done so.
Oh, I would have beat the ever living shit out of him.
Yep.
That would have been it. I would have beat his fucking ass. I would just berate him on the microphone as I was doing it as well.
Yeah,
I'd like
all exact same wavelength here.
Yeah, it would have been. Hold on, give me that mic, Bischoff. I would have been kicking his ass. It's I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna fuck your brother up.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember a couple years ago when your house burned down? Yeah, that was me. I'm glad your dog is dead. You know, I would have been doing all of that. I would have fucked up his world.
Nice. I have to agree.
Yep. One word. Yep.
Yeah, they let back Goldust, who had a big issue. They've let back Joey Mercury. They let back Ultimate Warrior like twice.
Yeah, he's
Like-
money. He brings in money.
Yeah,
people
like
got
they'd
there.
wait longer than the 6. Even if that happened in WWE or whatever, they would have let him back. Like even if it took years, they would have let him back because he's money, and they wouldn't have been in 6 months like TNA, but it would have happened. Like Rob Van Dam made it back, like everyone does.
It seems like he's been sober enough and proven himself now, where you can trust him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I got to think that they'd be smart enough that if they did bring him back, that they would put, a good travel partner with him. Maybe a Goldust. I don't know. But someone that would keep him on the straight and narrow. Yep. Yep. Someone that's going to keep him accountable.
yeah.
Well, they're losing a shit ton of money because right there, Make-A-Wish is
Yeah.
they're gonna be broken over this. All the fans, they're gonna be broken over it. They're not gonna be bringing out a new shirt every 2 weeks.
No. I think some of the fans would probably be like, "Daddy, what's he doing? What's wrong with him?" And be more their parents, saying, "You cannot watch this anymore."
Yeah, as a parent, that would make their job harder for me now. Thanks, John. You get all fucked up now. I gotta explain to my kid why you're an asshole. Thanks, pal. I don't know. You're the world's worst person.
Sorry.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Cena. Making things worse for me. I gotta teach my kids stuff. Yeah.
This cancels out all 400 Make-A-Wishes.
Man, it really would. It really would. I mean, because people would never remember all the good stuff that he'd done. It would just be, oh yeah, you remember that one time he was supposed to wrestle Randy Orton and he came out there all fucked up? I can hear you.
Right.
Oh, YouTube game? Well,
Fuck you.
fuck them. Then do the show in sign language. I know a little bit.
Oh, damn it. See, you made me lose what I was going to say with that shit.
Have to do with sign language?
Let's tell.
There we go.
I've had a small question, thinking about when you've been talking about how it's a big insult to Sting, and how Sting really could have and possibly should have beat the living crap out of Jeff on that night. I was wondering. Now it'd probably be the same for everyone else, but I wonder how would some other stars from either company would react to that sort of situation.
If it was Taker, he would have beat his ass. If it would have been Brock Lesnar, you better believe he would have crippled him.
No, freaking, what was it? You said Randy Orton as an example a minute ago. Randy Orton would have just beat the dog shit out of him and then taken a shit on his stuff.
He would have ran to the back. He would have found his gym bag. He would have taken a shit in it.
Yeah, in front of him and then punted him. It would have been.
Yep. It would have been fantastic.
Do you know what? I think it's really weird because obviously, There's a lot of guys out there that believe in full respect in the business. And if they don't have the full respect, they're not going to wrestle. I've heard of stories about guys that have gone out there and said, you know what, this guy's not good enough, I'm not wrestling him. Bradshaw's your key example. He used to go out and literally beat the shit out of people.
Oh, yeah, if it would have been Bradshaw, yeah, he would have beaten Matt Hardy to a pulp. I mean, Jeff Hardy to a pulp.
You want the key example? Hardcore Holly.
Oh, yeah, Hardcore Holly would have, too. That's why I don't
God help you if that had been Hardcore Holly.
Hardcore Holly would have ended his life right there.
Yeah.
That would have been a homicide in that ring.
You know, I wonder what Bray Wyatt would have done.
Well, I don't know that guy as like a person. Like, I don't know.
You know, he's someone that hasn't been in the business long enough, but I think he has enough respect for the business that he would have played ball. He would have figured out something.
Yeah, his dad is a mid-card. I played ball.
You're being generous by calling him mid-card.
He had his moments. He was a multi-time tag team champion. And a TV champion. He had a good role. I'm gonna say most people would have killed to have Mike Rotunda's career.
There's my defense.
Okay.
Yep, that's it. He was. Oh my God! You think Randy Orton does rest holds? Fuck.
I like Mike Rotunda's ring work.
Oh my God! You love shit ring work, then. That's what you like.
Well, he does collegiate wrestling mixed in with like
he does 4-minute rest holds. He stinks.
I mean, I haven't seen a huge amount, but I've seen him work those tag matches with Teddy DiBiase, and I've seen him as, I think, TV champion, like back when he was in the Varsity Club.
I'd rather watch a fucked up Jeff Hardy. There we go.
Okay,
segue to back.
Do you know what? Do you want to hear a little story here? YouTube just pulled the Jeff Hardy because YouTube cut my mic out. Now, do you know why I don't like this? Because I like to be heard. Do you know who likes being heard? Is one man named Vince Russo. Vince Russo recently has been gone telling stories. I'm wondering if Russo's gonna spill the whole thing and say what actually happened that night. Because obviously TNA has been, TNA has been fairly fucking quiet about the whole thing. They've not really said what's going on. They just kind of covered the main story and went, Jeff Hardy's going to apologize to everyone. Jeff came out, he apologized, and then for weeks they followed it up with, Jeff must do all these promos backstage and apologize to all the stars. How many of those stars do you think genuinely hate Jeff Hardy? Like, AJ Styles seemed pretty pissed. Kurt Angle seemed pissed, which to me was hilarious.
Yeah,
that Kurt Angle, of all the drunk tweeters in the world, Kurt Angle.
of all the drunk drivers in the world, Kurt Angle can't say anything.
So I mean, if you're another TNA, another TNA star, and you've gone out and you worked your ass off, say maybe you were at that time you were one of the Beer Money, or hell, even if you were Taz on commentary, Jeff Hardy comes back into your company. How does that make you feel?
Well, it all depends on how you're going to look at it. I mean, if the guy is genuine and he really means it, then okay, fine. I'm all for second chances. But I mean, if it's him coming back, oh yeah, sure, I'll apologize, whatever. If he's going out there with that attitude, then yeah, fuck him.
Okay, so
no remorse.
Yeah, so what you're saying then really is all depends on how sad he can make himself look.
Right, if he really means it. I mean, if and he's still sober now, right? I believe.
Yeah, he's completely sober now. Apparently, he drinks occasionally, but doesn't touch pills or medication of any kind.
Well, then that doesn't count. So
that
he's just a weekend with Scott Hall away from being
that's
right
not
back to where he was.
Well, no, Jeff Hardy's incident was never alcohol related. It was all pills.
Dude,
the whole thing was pills.
One hand washes the other, bro.
Yeah, alcohol will lead you right to that shit. Like, I've heard a million guys talk about it. They think they can just have one beer, and next thing they know, they're friggin' storing cocaine or doing meth and shit.
As someone who had a drinking problem, I've been sober for 4 years now, and I know that there's no way that I could ever have just one beer or anything like that. So.
Okay, so let's not take that for granted. If anyone wants to prove me wrong and say that Jeff Hardy is 100% sober, clean, blah, 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 please do, because I would like to know as a fan myself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It'd be nice to know. I mean, we spent a good...
Yeah, if he's thinking, oh yeah, I could just drink. No, that's not how it works, dude.
Yeah, that's wrong. He is wrong.
Yeah,
But-
you're not trying.
Yeah, but if I didn't believe in second, third, fourth chances, I wouldn't be watching Goldust be one of the best dudes in WWE right now.
Yeah, that's like going, okay, fine, I'm gonna quit snorting coke. I'm just gonna smoke weed.
Yeah, it doesn't play like that. If you're an addict,
Yeah,
you're an
it's not
addict,
like
and it's gonna
that.
lead you right into the other shit.
I'm gonna stop killing people, but I'm still gonna rape. You know,
Yeah.
it's not.
Speaking of killing people, John...
Speaking of rape,
Wow, we haven't even established that part of John yet.
This is transcended non-PG.
Dude, we were never even close to non-PG. We'd bypassed that a while back.
We opened up with the word fuck like 20 seconds in.
Which is better than LoWdown. We managed to say shit 3 minutes in.
Okay.
Speaking of which, guys, if you're listening to this and you have not listened to LoWdown, you need to make your Tuesday nights available, because straight before main event, 2 hours beforehand, you can catch us every single week doing the same kind of thing, but we're a little more PG. So if you got kids that want to listen to wrestling news, or they want to hear a little bit more, you can even get us on like Podomatic or on YouTube anytime to listen to.
and
So-
it's on iTunes. Go subscribe.
And it's on iTunes. There we go. John, let me get back to you. Obviously, we've said a lot of bad things tonight about Jeff Hardy, who is someone that you don't know a lot of back history about. Would you comfortably watch a Jeff Hardy match now, or would this incident be something that's always in the back of your mind now?
Because I didn't follow Jeff Hardy up until the incident, and didn't grow any sort of attachment to him, I could still watch his matches perfectly fine. And I've seen clips of things he's done, and I'm still, I think he's really, really good. But for me, coming as from an outsider's view, definitely. But for someone who would have been attached, a proper fan like you, it would really change it. I can imagine.
Skeletor, what do you think? I mean, can you watch a Jeff Hardy match now and be okay with it? Or do you still have that image in the back of your mind that this has happened?
I've seen this several times. Like, I saw it, I wasn't watching TNA at the time, but I saw it immediately afterwards just because of how many people were talking about it. And yeah, I can still watch Jeff Hardy stuff. It doesn't kill the dude for me. I don't like it, and it was bad, and he could have done something. He could have injured Sting if that match had gone on for more than 45 seconds. But the point is that nothing did happen, so I can pretty easily just watch something Jeff Hardy does without thinking about it too much.
And finally, Paul, what's your thoughts? I mean, is Jeff Hardy's performance still impacted by this Victory Road incident? Can you still watch him comfortably?
I still watch Chris Benoit matches and love them, so yeah. I'm fine.
Yeah, I can't.
I watch Benoit matches by the boatload. So yeah, Jeff coming out there. Yeah, I could still watch his matches.
Man, with that kind of attitude, you could be sitting rolling a joint with Jeff Hardy.
I could, but you know what? Apparently, I'm a better man than Jeff. So I'm better at being sober than he is. So look at that.
Tell you what, I asked on Twitter, would it piss you off to be in TNA when Jeff Hardy came back? Craig Hermit says, at the time, I'd have been pissed off, but the feud with Jeff Jarrett, storyline or not, he voiced a lot of home truths. Do you know what? I kind of agree with that. During that storyline, if you if you don't know much about it, Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett basically went back and forth. Jeff Jarrett stated he didn't want Jeff Hardy in his company. And it got to the point where Jeff Jarrett ran his son into the situation. He's like, my son wants to be like Jeff Hardy. He wants to paint his face like Jeff Hardy. He wants to wear the armbands and the silly hair and things like that. Jeff Hardy probably spoke the most candidly he has ever done in that whole entire storyline. because he admitted every fuck up he's ever had. Like, the only thing that he didn't admit was, like, the times in WWE, because people really didn't want them referenced. Do you think it's good for a wrestler to be able to mix their personal life in with stories, or do you think it's better to have kayfabe as kayfabe?
You got to walk that fine line, because you know, if you cross it too much, then you get a situation like the Legion of Doom and Hawk. You know, right towards right before Hawk passed away. You know, so a lot of it is, you know, is punishment almost. Is when they bring that type of thing up. You know, it almost seems like they're doing it to punish that individual, which, you know, isn't going to help them in their mental state. But again, you know, it's all about how tastefully you can do it. You know, like when CM Punk and Jeff Hardy had their feud, and Punk brought up everything about Hardy.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that was,
if Chris was here, you know, he'd be marking out right now.
But that was done, you know, in a good way, because of the type of heel that Punk was, and Hardy going, yeah, you know what, I've done this, I own it, you know, this is me now.
You know, a storyline I thought, like, it wasn't like as much like bad stuff like that one was, but it kind of brought in real life in an interesting way. Was the Rhodes brothers, Rhodes family versus the Authority McMahons, because, you know, they reference stuff like, you know, Cody said they put my dad in polka dots and they'd dance around, and they'll like put my brother in face paint. He hasn't been the same since, and they called, and Stephanie McMahon, I think, called Goldust Cody's screw up brother, and all sorts of stuff like that. And, like, there was elements of reality to it, but it was, you know, kind of tastefully handled, and it was like one of the best feuds of that year, if not the best feud of that year.
Yeah, so that almost felt like Dusty had a hand in it, you know, because it was crafted in a smarter, older way. Also,
Dusty being involved in the match where they won the titles was great. Like that.
Yeah, it almost felt like, you know, that he was involved, so he could just go, you know, so he could have his little saying. Go, oh yeah, hold on, let's bring up when they used to put me into a polka dot, if you will.
I'm so glad you did the impersonation, or I was going to be very upset, Paul.
Hey, any chance I can get to bring out the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, I'll do.
So, with Jeff Hardy's current state, like, as we've discussed, he's fairly clean, as far as we're aware. He's fairly clean. Would you be willing and trusting enough to put him in a situation now where you think he can hold the World Heavyweight Championship and hold your company? Or would you be reluctant to put the belt on him? John, what do you think?
Wait, say that again, sorry?
Would you be reluctant now to put the belt on Jeff Hardy, or would you quite happily still have him as your big money draw as a champion?
Now that 3 years has passed, I wonder if that's enough water under the bridge to move on from it. Depending on how they book him, I probably would.
Okay. Skeletor, what about you? Do you think it's time for Jeff Hardy, that he can be the face holder of the company again, or should they continue going the route they're going?
Of TNA?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird position, because putting a belt on someone is like a lot of responsibility for that person, and they are like more or less the face of the company. And if they screw up like while they have the belt, it's a pretty bad thing. I would be very cautious to do that. If he's really been clean, it's been like 3 years, probably. But I can get why they wouldn't. I fully understand like why they wouldn't.
Okay, and Paul, what about you? Do you think Jeff Hardy should be the face holder of that championship, or do you think it's about time that they just they let it go?
I think he's in the spot where he doesn't need that belt. I mean, he's still one of the faces of the company. He's probably their biggest merchandise seller, I gotta think, right? So
as far as I'm aware, he's the biggest merch seller.
Yeah, and probably by a large margin. So, you know what? Yeah, you don't need to put the belt on him. Just keep him where he's at. And let him do his thing. I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't trust him watching my kid, but I wouldn't trust him running my company. So.
Now we know nothing about this entirely at all, but let's take let's take a guess. If we had to, which current WWE star is capable of a Jeff Hardy size fuck up?
Randy Orton.
Paul, let's go backwards. You start first this time.
Randy Orton. He's already at 2 strikes.
Do you think he's going to have the Jeff Hardy style one, or do you think it'd just be another small?
You know what? You never know with him. Because I mean, just a few months ago, he was saying how he was fed up with the company. He wanted a break. He's always been kind of temperamental. I mean, he's starting to get that old swagger back, which is starting to make me think, hold on, is he in the sauce again? So.
I think when he starts getting skinny, that's when we need to worry.
Yeah, and now I'm like interested in him again. So yeah, he's got to be doing something. He's got to be on drugs again. So yeah, I'm gonna go Randy Orton just because he's already on 2 strikes. So
Skeletor, which junkie fucks up next?
Oh god, yeah. I mean, Orton is a prime candidate because he confuses me. Because he'll be okay for like 3 years, and then he'll just fuck up a bunch back to back to back. I don't. And then, I don't get him. I don't get what he does, how he is as a person. I don't understand. But, yeah, he's a prime candidate. Actually, I feel pretty safe in saying that I don't think, Goldust would ever be back into it. It feels like he's past that crap.
Say CM Punk. Say
CM Punk. CM Punk will do methamphetamine and then we'll walk out on the stage and then just piss on the fans, literally. Just walk out on the side of the stage and just piss into the crowd.
Oh, don't lie. He's going to shit off the edge of the stage and call it a pipe bomb.
Yeah. Catch this pipe bomb.
John, if you had to pick one WWE superstar, or in fact any superstar from any company, who would you say is capable? Just off the top of your head, who would you say is capable of a Jeff Hardy style fuck up?
Capable. If we're dealing in drugs again, I don't know enough of their histories to really say about drugs. But
yeah, that's cool.
I sort of agree. I could imagine Randy Orton doing something pretty bad. Trying to imagine others that I know, I don't know, I can't quite picture it.
Well, just think of the Hardy last name.
Matt.
Yeah.
Cough.
Yeah.
Matt,
I
cough.
suppose.
Matt.
Runs in the family.
Orton's got to be
It does
careful
run in the family,
about,
that's the sad thing.
Orton's got to be careful about shitting in those bags because they can test that shit for drugs.
Huh.
Do you know what my favorite one would be? It's got to be Zack Ryder, and he's got to go on a bender and completely blow his top.
Oh,
Good point.
just walk out drunk, yelling about how he was buried by the WWE. They cut his mic. He starts screaming at children and stuff.
I want him walking out with a bottle of Jim Beam and smoking a cigarette.
I'd love to
Do you know what?
that.
I'd watch him. I'd watch him more than I do now.
Yeah.
If I want to see anybody drunk, I want to see Jamie Noble drunk, because that's one of the hickest guys I've ever seen in my life, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Hold on, he's your uncle, isn't he?
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you remember when the
He's actually his
Miz
uncle and his dad.
He's from West Virginia. He's not that far.
Oh, that's the bad Virginia.
Yeah, that is the bad Virginia. West Virginia is terrible.
I did
Remember
warn you
when
this
the
would
Miz
get
would
on
walk out?
PC. What was that?
Yeah, do you remember when the Miz would walk out, I think last year, just randomly in some of the matches and go towards the announce table and just rant about how he would never get a chance?
Yeah. I do remember that,
Yeah.
actually.
If Zack Ryder did that, but completely legitimately.
Well, did it just completely drunk?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I would pay to watch it. I think JBL would probably knock him flat on his ass just for being out there.
Mm.
JBL would hit him with a clothesline so hard that he'd just die on the spot.
JBL would have been drinking with him backstage.
Well,
That's what
yeah.
happened. Hold on, we were drinking backstage, Michael. Let the man speak.
Oh, PWE Podcast says he's along with Paul. I'm saying that Orton is the next one to pull a Jeff Hardy fuck up. Can we get that as a hashtag, Jeff Hardy fuck up? That would be great. If we can get that trending tonight, I'd be amazed.
Yeah, have that as the benchmark for fuck ups.
Yeah, you can be bad, you can have a drug bust, or you can have a Jeff Hardy fuck up.
It really
police
is.
will have that now.
It really is in a category all by itself. So
I can't think of another wrestling event other than Chris Benoit that has been quite as bad as that.
well, like when I asked earlier, what are we talking about? And all you said was the Victory Road incident, and I knew exactly what you were talking about. So
Yeah, do you know what's funny is there's only one person on Twitter that's questioned me what the incident was.
oh, good.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. Was the incident the fact that Winter got pinned and she shouldn't have? Oh no. But, it's one of these things. It's going to be synonymous now with Jeff Hardy, which is a little bit sad.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you make your bed, you lie in it.
Are there any other examples of somebody just showing up visibly, obviously high or drunk in a wrestling match, like in a major company?
The Outlaws did it once in the Attitude Era. And the only reason that they're drunk is because Road Dogg can't even cut a proper promo. Or he can't even say the intro, sorry.
That's rough. Because I'm pretty sure he hums that crap in his sleep.
Okay, I want to say a big thank you to you guys for coming on tonight. It's been a great start to the show. Big thank you to all our listeners who have tuned in, and definitely thank you for those who have interacted with us on our interactive show. Well done. I know that probably sounded much more patronizing than it should have, but you guys are awesome. Next week, we want you guys to pick the topic that we do. So we are taking suggestions for any topic you want, and the top two will get put into a tweet, and whichever one wins the most points will be the topic for the show. We will literally take any incident, but it has to be controversial. That's the whole thing with this show. If it's not controversial, we don't want to know about it, okay? So again, a big thank you to everyone who listened. Keep listening. Don't forget you can get LoWdown on a Tuesday. You've got Nitrocast and Wrestle Buddies with Paul.
Yay!
John's going to continue doing our artwork, and Skeletor's going to continue being depressed.
Yay!
The best
A
year
big
ever.
thank you to everyone, and that's us for tonight. So goodbye.